Okay, so we got a bit of news here that I want to discuss. A United States senator has totally thrown his hat into the ring on whether or not we should be playing college football, all right? So he drafted a letter on United States Senate stationery that is dated August 20th, 2020 today. And it reads, "To the Big Ten presidents and chancellors, we should not cancel the college football season. Life is about trade-off. There are no guarantees that college football will be completely safe. M dash, that's absolutely true. It's always true. But the structure and discipline of football programs is very likely safer than what the lived experience of 18 to 22-year-olds will be if there isn't a season." A former college president, I know, as a former college president, I know many of you actually agree because I've heard multiple presidents say it when the cameras aren't rolling. Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence have made similar points persuasively. Canceling the fall football season would mean closing down socially distanced, structured programs for these athletes. Young men will be pushed away from universities that are uniquely positioned to provide them with testing and healthcare. Here's the reality. Many of you think that football is safer than no football, but you also know that you will be blamed if there is football, whereas you can't duck any blame if you cancel football. This is a moment for leadership. These young men need a season. Please don't cancel college football. Sincerely, Ben Sassy. Okay. Senator, you're wrong. But, it's a persuasive argument for folks that want football already, which is to say, what needs to be a notch on America's pastime of suing people is also, I didn't do it, it ain't my fault. That's actually a joke that my parents tell all the time, right? It's, what's the name of your insurance? Your fault. Which is to say, Americans as a group will do what they can to shirk blame. Like when we talk about race, I know that somebody has already lost a discussion or argument or checked out when they say, hey, I didn't own slaves. Okay, man. Okay. So privilege is not, no, privilege does not exist. Okay. In this conversation that he's having with the public at large, because this obviously got out, I see one clear, just sticking point, which is to say that these football players are better off at their universities than they are at home, which is patently untrue. And it is patently untrue because the more people you put around each other, the more likely they are to have the virus. But more than that, again, it totally skips over the discussion of bringing students back to campus. Because once you bring students back to campus, they are no longer safe. Nobody is safe. And then add to that, along with them not being safe, if you wanted to create a safe place, you have to cut them away from the student body. Like I see from folks that are pushing for football, just make everybody go to online classes and only have the players on campus to play games. You can't do that under the model that they created. They created a model that does not allow for such a thing to exist precisely so they don't have to take any of the blame for the players not making any money. Every bit of this is so that universities can keep as much money to themselves as possible while saying, hey, blame the NCAA. Don't blame me. While saying, hey, blame the media. Don't blame me. And we know that universities are not going to shut down those campuses precisely because that's where so much of the money is. Because if you can't afford to make people pay those stupid fees and obscene tuition, you cease utility. You cease to have any utility for the rest of us. Your function no longer matters. They're cheaper. Online schools are cheaper. The difference is you are usually paying for prestige and accreditation. You're not paying just to have your diploma. That said, does it matter? No. That you went to Ohio State? No. That you went to OU? Only the people that know you. And that might be worth its weight in gold to you. Who's to say that it isn't? There is utility in a college atmosphere. There's not utility in me paying 40 grand for the same education I get for $1.50 in late charges at the public library, to quote my man Will Hunting. That's where I'm at. I basically buy a book a day just because I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. I want to get to that. I got a stack of books that I'm still going through. You know, I've read 3 books on gun violence and policing over the weekend, in addition to all this other stuff that I'm doing, because I'm always trying to learn something. But I can't imagine having to pay thousands of dollars so that I could read that book in a book club, which is essentially what it is when a professor is lecturing me, when a professor is trying to incite discussion and get meaningful thoughts from students and get them to think critically. Hell, I do that with my parents every day. You know, I do that on this show every day. What says that I need a university to do that? Again, it's not just football that is in crises. It is college universities that are in crises. University of Urbana didn't even make it out of May. Okay? We're going to see so much money shrivel up that there's going to have to be a culling. We're going to reevaluate what is important. Maybe we'll reevaluate whether or not we use an agricultural system for our schooling, because it used to be, hey, kids got to be home to help with the harvest, so let's build school around that. Kids don't have to do that anymore. Kids can be home. We can have school year round. We can actually make school work for us. We can change the way education is done, just like we can change the way that football is done. Difference is, there's so many people in positions now that are going, no. I worked my way up through this system, so you have to work your way up through this system. The enemy of change is vengeance, vindictiveness, a nature that says, I am the most important thing because I am in charge now. As opposed to the nature of a person saying, you know what is the best solution? If that solution says that my function is no longer what is needed, then I need to find another function. I feel like this could all be made understood just by watching The Matrix again. Which is to say, what's your purpose? It is your purpose that drives you. It is the purpose that binds you. What is the purpose of football? Honestly, for us to enjoy, for them to enjoy to play. Sports is the reward of a functioning society. Guess what we don't have today?